So there's our winner, coming back after Division 2 of the maiden. An incident-packed race, only a couple of finishers in the end. And this horse, which got a good talk up from Darren Edwards beforehand, hadn't showed a huge amount, but had shown bits and pieces. And I suppose the fact that he was part of the Trevor Hemmings empire, so when a lot of the empire's horses were dispersed, he was one that was on the market and has been snapped up by Dean Summersby to win this. Melvin, so fell again. Looked the part, travelled beautifully until entering the closing stages, and that's when Russian Invasion really threw down that challenge. It was good to see that horse and jockey were quickly up, and Melvin fights for another day. But gosh, I was just thinking, I had a tiny bet on him last week and I lost that. I should have backed him today because he did travel halfway down the far side with real purpose. But I think it looks as though he was probably held when Russian Invasion took control. And a few round of applause, a few whoops, a few cheers for Darren Edwards, supported by Fisher German, as you can see on his breeches, brings that horse back into the winner's enclosure. And if you're following the live feed from here this afternoon, thank you for following it. And you might well have backed a winner there, because he was very positive about the horse's chances, rather more positive than I was beforehand. And he was absolutely right. We can bring Simon Knott in because the result, well, hasn't actually been confirmed by the judge, but number 7, Russian Invasion, has repelled all comers to win by a considerable distance for Dean Summersby and his racing club. And what price was he returned at the end? Well,
he's returned 5-2 in the face of the money for the other one. If you remember, the first punter that went in, back that when it went into 6-4, it's gone back out to 5-2 at the off in the face of the money for Bourbon Prince.
And I'll tell you what, Bourbon Prince, those people that you said they were queuing up.
They were literally queuing up.
And they never really, he never, what's the expression, lovely form book expression, never a factor.
Yeah.
And he was just never a factor, was he?
He's probably one for the notebooks. It must be better than it showed today.
Yeah, but then, yeah, he's had a few chances, hasn't he? But clearly, you're absolutely right. He's one to be looking out for. And he was certainly none the worse. He was in the paddock behind us not long after in fact, as the others went over the finish, well, those that finished went over the finishing line. What was the price of the runner-up? What a bug!
33-1.
33-1. So that is the news of the betting on our maiden race, supported by Ray Davis Foods. Thank you to Ray Davis Foods for your support. And they were racing there for the R. Laurie Cup. So, and just in case you wondered, don't ask us, meet me later, weren't mentioned at all. They were non-runners in that race. So that sorts that one out. I wonder if Darren and Dean will come, and Darren will come and say, I told you, because he was absolutely spot on about that. Let's give you the news on what is, can't believe it, it's the last race of the day. Coming up, race number 8, which is the restricted. My goodness, I've got a fancy in this. I hope Simon will be back in a minute to give us the update. In fact, I'll tell you what, I'll give you the news on the restricted in a moment. But Dean Summersby is resuming what has become his place for the afternoon, practically. Well done. Melvin is clearly a nice horse, and you'd got that one's measure when he went out of the race. What do you say? That I know it was incident packed, and you've won by a long way because some horses were pulled up or fell or whatever. Yeah, but still, it was a lovely performance.
It was a brilliant performance. Melvin's obviously a very good horse as well. They went a right gallop from the flagfall, really, to be truthful. He stayed on and kept staying. Yes, I've always thought he was a useful horse at home. I thought he was probably as good as anything I've had.
Really?
But in saying that, we've all had them before, and then you get to the track and they just fall apart. So,
these horses.
They make you look stupid. So no, he's done it nicely. There again, he went and down to Jackie's, had a couple of goes over hurdles. His first run was a very good run, and he pulled up at the last. But he'd been off the track for 16 months. Bought him at Doncaster, and then the second time we run him, he slipped on the bend down to the bottom of Chepstow, and he just pulled the muscles in his back. So we've done a lot of work, a lot of physio. Catherine Davies does an amazing job with him, really, to be honest. She's put him all back together and shown today.
And so he was at Trevor Hemmings from the dispersal sale.
Yeah, he was at Trevor Hemmings' dispersal sale last year. He'd had one run for John Joe, and then he was second before that in an Irish point-to-point, which actually was quite a good point-to-point, I think, at the time.
Right.
He was only just beat then as well when Trevor brought him.
So is he one you were talking about? Some of your horses earlier on, they want better ground. What about this one? Would he run again this season?
We do a lot of our work up on the moors and that, so we get a good feel of what they do want. To be honest, I think he'll go on most ground, but I wouldn't want to run him on too firm a ground.
No,
not really.
Excellent. Well, look, well done. And
Thank you very much.
And you've got more work to do.
We got 1-1 in the last.
And what do you think about that one?
He's all right. It may be a bit of a short trip for him. 2.5 miles might be a bit quick, but yeah, he's okay. He should pick up a restricted. Whether it be today, I'm not so sure.
Well, he's called the winner take it all.
That's right.
But Dean's been taking it all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed for